got ourselves here Haster over for the team 1 together with Johnny Boy. We got ourselves Roots Tree as well as Airless making a return. I liking the monk, my guy. We got ourselves GDK over for the team 2 with Diabolicals. The Warlock got himself the Wizard hat on with Fade Away, Stealth and Run, swapping his Mach 2. Yuko, the monk, is going to be first up with Chicago. Oh, got that Molten Fire built. Yo, that effect with the weapons actually looks so sick. It makes that whole, the molten red lines of those maces, we'll swap to them in a second here, stand out so much more when you have that Shadowlandsy look. Gonna be a blind out of Sea Roots. This is Herb. Doesn't really need a weapon takedown. You can try to see if you can just blast him out of the way. Immediate Wake of Ashes Bubble. He's gonna, oh my god, pass the karma. That is so unfortunate. As the monk was just spamming globals just to set up some damage. He didn't expect Farus to just go full health bubble immediately. My goodness, Rune Society, you know what? I'm just gonna bubble smack and see what happens. And that's gonna be Diabolicals taking advantage. No more bubble. He's gonna go for mad damage. Oh my god! Diabolicals with big instas. Are you kidding me? Got him some bunch of portal rudes. Gonna try to see if he can survive those shield defenders. Not gonna hold on strong. Diabolicals trying to make sure he got the angle. Big damage into a lay on hands. Roots does escape certain death, but a succubus is gonna keep you pincered yet again. Another Cannibal trying to come out. Roots trying to see if he can walk away, but walking, it's just gonna be punishment. As Diabolicals making sure that every step you take is through a bunch of hot fell coals. Every single one of them as he's sending out a big charcoal next to you. That is Infernal. Wake of Ashes suddenly punch for a second. Roots trying to see if he can walk away from Infernal, but Diabolicals actually maybe even worse, maybe more terrifying than Infernal. Who would have thought the little gnomed warlock would be absolutely more terrifying than a fell elemental? As Rudes, at no help whatsoever, needs to make sure he's not jumping around too much because Diabolicals can get landed inside of you, go for a couple of shadow burns and just extinguish life out of you. Rudes hoping for a bit of an escape as he gets back to back for Diabolicals. Oh my god! What do you do in that situation? You can't even run out of there, man. Oh man. Tree gonna be up next, trying to sink in the bleeds. Diabolicals may even want to swap out the pets. The succubus can slow down the feral, but he can't use the succubus you see on the feral unless they shift into a humanoid form. So far, by Diabolicals, stun around the corner, has line of sight, does not go for a chaos ball just yet, but he does get himself incinerated. Big portals are up. Tree is gonna have to play some defenses here. That wall's not gonna last long at all. Into a chaos ball, does end up getting a juke out on the feral. Juke could go for a double back-to-back cast into instant cast. Tree trying to see if he can back up out of there really quickly, but a chaos ball is gonna chase him behind the pillar. The succubus is pretty good at slowing down the feral druid though. So that is an advantage of having the succubus. Normally warlocks will swap out to like a fel puppy just because they can interrupt you and steal any kind of regrowths, rejuves, or any kind of buffs that you may have. So that can sometimes be useful. Diabolicals taking a little bit of damage though. The bleeds are going right through that classy armor. Mordecai is gonna stump Tree for just a second, but the instants from the Warlock are just gonna be brutal. Tree has to play defensive as he tries to see if he can get a charge back towards Diabolicals. He did go for a charge, but Diabolicals already had an incinerate mid-air, and there's nothing you can do about it. John charging in as Diabolicals fire build. It's actually fire. It's actually really, really good. It's actually insane. It's going to yoink back in, yo-yo and Diabolicals back in there. Does not have a mobility at the moment. Doesn't play any defenses. Is going to be a dark back together with a wall. This is where you want to get the most amount of damage. John does end up going for the AMS. Big grippy hand. Going to be a fear onto John for just a second. Has a ledge board for it. Even has the undead racial for it too, so like really doubles up on that field protection. Diabolicals got so far, may not have enough here, maybe overwhelmed by the demon. Oh my god. Then I almost called him Demon Hunter. But the Death Knight, overwhelmed by the DK. Look at Chicago's maces, man. That Shadowlandsy, dark, almost like an inky black effect on the weapons does make that orange stand out so much. Oh my god, it looks so wicked good. As Chicago, I think is going to be trying to channel their maybe inner fire. Big storm section to Michael, though. Michael catching up a little bit more healing as Chicago doesn't really want to give him a trinket just yet. Has plenty of damage. It's playing the Storm Strike as Sundance build, so they should be pretty okay for a bit here. Sunder onto Michael, trying to see if he can blast him. It does end up clashing with an elemental blast on the guy with haste, looking for a couple of casts there, but Chicago I was surprised Chicago just didn't charge at Haster. Maybe they're trying to be like, hey, can I get an auto, my guy? Are you going to give me one? No. Haster just going to hit you with a fear, mind bender, big blast of burst and everything. Try to see if you can take it down, but a root is just going to prevent the Shadow Priest from being able to go anywhere. Maybe you could mass dispel those roots next time just to make sure you got him some mobility. Big buy available. Chicago ascending to a whole nother level. Yet another root by Haster this time around, though. And Chicago is just not, just ignoring the root entirely. The Ascendant just lets you ascend beyond your limits, blasted right through haste, ripping right past the priest defenses here. Does end up spawning a tentacle at Chicago. Those tentacles can actually be quite kind of brutal. The damage they do is actually quite good. The damage they do is good, but for haste, he does need to channel a lot of abilities, a lot of mind flays in order to prog these tentacles. That means you gotta play like a channeler build, and that's gonna be dispersed as he's taking a bit of damage. Stun totem can't go anywhere with the root, not letting you do anything at all. The pet also is gonna get sundered there back to back. Everything is just gonna shell shock, and Haster just trying to see if he can escape out of it. Gonna be Chicago trying to go for a kick. I think ends up getting juked out by Haster, which is super unfortunate. It does go for a bit of a channel, and my frames just went out of nowhere. Haster, not a lot of health already. Maybe he can get himself a silence. Maybe he can survive a little bit here. While South Chicago can't really counter Haster. Can go maybe for some just physical damage. Haster has cooldown's coming back up. Interrupted a holy. Doesn't go for the maybe heal. Does get himself power ward life to keep himself alive in the last second. Needs to go for Empirical base. Fear and a stunner to Chicago. Don't really know if you need to overlap both of them. But the more damage you do right now, the more healing you're going to have. Does have emergency healing coming back up. That's also shields. Look, Haster has been able to stabilize and actually turning around on Chicago little by little. Got him some spike procs and everything. Trying to go for mind games, still hasn't been able to really establish one. And Chicago has been able to stabilize, but at the cost of all their mana. Root for a second does end up sprinting past it. Haster could be in trouble. Does have some defenses coming back up. Has himself a holy defensive with Desperate Prayer, as well as a shadow one with Vampiric Base, but may have to activate that really early. Stun onto Haster, and Chicago gets feared out. Haster can't go anywhere. It's gonna get interrupted. Just absolute lockdown with an Ascendance for Chicago. Maybe turn around on the Shadow Priest. Has himself dispersed. As long as he doesn't get interrupted on Shadow, he should be okay. Disperse comes out really early. May just need to go for Vampiric Base. Quick stun on Chicago. This is gonna be tricky and interrupted. Big damage. Oh my god, Chicago just brocking on the guy out of left field. Oh my goodness. Had to go for the trick, and he knew that if I don't end it right here, it could be over. Does pre-wall Errorless's opener. Errorless playing. Are you playing Ventier? Is that what I'm seeing? You are actually playing Ventier. What is this? I haven't seen Flagellation in such a long while. This man is wild. Errorless trying to play like a full Shadow Rogue build. You basically attach a debuff on the enemy, and every time you send in a finisher, every time you spend calm points, that Ventier ability is going to rip through the enemy with shadow damage and give you a stacking mastery buff. All in burst combo, which could be really good. It's also very short CD too. Evasion of Errorless really early. Fade away, trying to see if he can maybe get himself a setup versus Errorless, but Error so far hasn't made an error whatsoever. Trying to see if he can get around Fade, but the Evasion is going to keep him pretty agile. Smoke Bomb to create some cover. Vanish by Fade away. Errorless does not have any more defenses. Just use everything. Gouge the Fade away. Just see if he can get a shot. Next Kidney could win the game, and that's going to be Kidney onto Error. Does he go down his fade away? Trying to see if he can end them as an Assassination Rogue. Error trying to give himself a little bit more survivability, but the Poison Bomb and the Bleeds still end up taking him. My goodness, that ball goes with two. Chicago does come back on the top. The fact that you're healing more than you damage, man. Oh my god. I wonder if they'll touch that in 10-1. Touching the survivability of Enhancement Shop.